and then like what their personality is. Although at our last sonogram, like it's signs are pointing to them being more like Chris than me. So trying to get them to move for the sonogram, and they were like being camera shy because before the camera came out, they were moving around, and then we put out the camera, and they're just like, nope, I'm gonna sit here.
At this point, everybody has seen the news of Candiace Dillard and Chris Bassett being pregnant. Congratulations. So now we know why Candiace Dillard was pretty much trying to reel it in during the reunion. A lot of people were speculating that something was wrong with Candiace during the time of the reunion, and now we understand why. I assumed that her family was actually coaching her not to, get all rowdy or upset. And they probably were, due to the fact of her going through the trouble of getting pregnant. Not the trouble, but y'all know what I mean. Going through, the woes of getting pregnant and then going on this show screaming anything could happen, especially if you're high risk. As everybody talking is the fact that Chris Bassett revealed that he has 3 kids prior to his marriage with Candiace, but I thought we already knew this. That's part of the reason why Candiace's mom didn't want her marrying Chris. One of the reasons. And then also there was an episode when Candiace was at home. I think it was she, Chris, and his daughter. So we were kind of introduced to his kid. Not all of them, but we talked about this before, you guys, because the baby mom was giving them problems at one point, but I think they ironed out their issues. The viewer did ask Chris and Candiace, is there a spinoff? Not his words, my words, but this is what I grasped from the interview. He basically asked, would there be a spinoff for Candiace and Chris? And Candiace said, no, not at the moment. She has not been presented with that opportunity. But, that's something that she would have to talk to Chris about. I would be interested, wouldn't you guys? That's reality TV. But you know who would be upset? That damn Ashley. She didn't get her spinoff. She would be really upset if we were to follow Chris and Candiace on their journey. They owe her that, if you ask me. I think I could not help but to notice is how she would refer to her child that's growing in her belly. She kept referring to it. I hate when people say that, but that's typically what they would use. Is it is growing, right? No, she didn't say that. She said they are growing, or they wouldn't show up for a picture when we did an ultrasound, and their soccer games is what I'm preparing for. She would just use they in replace of she or he, or maybe she was trying to dance around knowing the sex of the baby. I don't know, but I found that very interesting. So we're going to note that for later, just in case she's actually implemented 2 and not 1. But she did make it clear during this interview, just so it's clear to my audience. She did make it clear in this interview that they implemented 1 embryo. And they have a girl and a boy that was frozen. And they don't know at this moment. At least they're insinuating they don't know. They said that the doctors know, but they don't. But here's her response into the lighthearted news. The good news, because we've heard so much drama surrounding Real Housewives of Potomac. This is probably the best news to come from their franchise. But she said, I was kind of content, but then I just got the itch. When I knew it, it was like undeniable. Dillard Bassett said, I kind of woke up and realized that I was never going to be 100% ready. And that is the damn truth. We always think that we have to plan and prepare, and that's when you overthink it. So she decided to go ahead and do the procedure to get pregnant. But here's the statement that really caught my eye. She said, with a whirlwind of new opportunities and responsibilities on my plate, I have decided to take a break from Real Housewives of Potomac. She said, this is not a farewell, but I see you later. You know what's interesting about that? We know now that Nneka and Robyn has been fired. And Robyn was doing all that dirty work. And also in a statement that Robyn had posted or said on her Reasonable Shady podcast, this woman said, she said, yes, I will not be returning for season 9 of Real Housewives of Potomac. It's reality. The network did not invite me back. I was fired for lack of better words. I will not sugarcoat the situation and say, oh, I am walking away and this is the break or anything like this. This is the network decision. Now, viewers, subscribers, supporters are feeling like Robyn in that statement and on the podcast, because there is an audio floating around of her actually saying those words. They feel like when she got to the part of saying, I wouldn't say, or I'm not going to say that I just walked away from the situation, or I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, even though it's been reported that Robyn had a mental breakdown and she was not happy about the news originally. But they are feeling like she threw a shot at Candiace by saying that she's not going to sugarcoat anything, because at this time we didn't know the news that we know today about Candice and Chris's good news about them being pregnant. And we don't know for sure if that's what she meant. Maybe she was just nervous to talk about it. Maybe it was still bothering her, and it was just a slip of the tongue. But if she was directing that to Candice, how you like them apples? The woman is pregnant. She don't want to deal with y'all's drama. She tried to mend fences with you. You weren't trying to hear it. But I have my reasons as to why I feel like Robyn was fired. Some people have already talked about, some they have not. I'm going to do that in a separate video, because right now it's about Candice. And whether or not Robyn was directing those statements towards Candice or not, we'll probably never know. But if she was, now we know that you just be talking out the side of your neck. Because at this point, Candice has tried to make up with you. She has tried to make amends, and you were not budging. Now, it's so interesting that she has the willpower, the ability to leave, right? Take care of herself for a minute. Pause on the show and come back. But can you say the same? Now, I'm not saying that to say that we probably won't see Robyn ever again, because her best friend is on the show. So I wouldn't be surprised if she made some guest appearance or what have you. But that's the difference between Robyn and Candice. Candice literally can leave the show today and never return and be fine. Now, will she do that? Probably not. She probably want to get her ducks in a row financially and make sure that she, Chris, and the baby and her step babies are financially good. That would be the smartest thing to do. Put some money back. But we all know how postpartum will literally sneak up on us. And I'm hoping that's not what Candice will go through. And I'm hoping if she does, she'll have the support. But you never know how a person will feel once they have their babies. You don't know. Her sentiments may change about returning to the show. Right now, it's I'll be back at a later time. But, once she have her baby, maybe she's not going to want to be around a Gizelle. She's not going to want to dabble in that mess that they have going on Real Housewives of Potomac for the sake of a check. Another thing that I wanted to talk about, being reported, not only did Robyn get the pink slip, so did Nneka, which, again, we will talk in a separate video. But who will replace Candice while she's on leave? I would really hope that they give Kiana a chance. Kiana knows a lot of the cast members on the show, at least Wendy and Candice. She's not fake pretending or trying to get in on the slick like Nneka tried to do Wendy. And one thing came to my mind when we were talking about the Wendy situation and Nneka on the reunion, right? How Nneka was telling producers that she saw her at an event, and Andy confirmed that that's why they initially let Nneka in. I have to call this out because it's on my brain. Wendy, I remember when Karen did the same thing to you, and you were very upset. You were upset because I guess they sat on the board together, and Karen wasn't trying to hear it. Can't y'all remember? Karen was not trying to hear it, and now we're going through this thing with Nneka. Now, Nneka, I feel like she played herself, but we're going to talk about that later. Candice, I just really wish her well. I don't want to see any mother stressed out while they're pregnant, so I'm not going to throw daggers at her and talk about how Chris has multiple baby moms, which we don't know for a fact. But he has 3 kids prior to his wife. Y'all don't think Candice know that? Candice know that. She knew that when she said, I do. And I'm sure she didn't move forward with having this child until things were smoothed out on that end. That would be the smart thing, but maybe not. We'll see. But I don't, want to talk badly on somebody that's doing something as beautiful as bringing a child into the world. The only reason why I'm saying that is because there's some speculation that people feel like she shouldn't have proceeded with getting pregnant for Chris. That is that woman's prerogative. That's her thing. I will hope she did it for the right reasons and not to keep Chris around. I will hope. One can just hope. but we don't know these people for real. We're just supporters of them. But I definitely want to give my congratulatory video to Candice and Chris, and I wish them well, and I hope we do see a spinoff. Tell me what your thoughts is below.
Warning.